Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. Okay, let me bring you up to speed on what I did after the last episode. I went along and added some more lace and trim to all of the spines. I didn't end up putting any on here yet. I might still. I'm sort of thinking, does it need it, does it not? Can I find a lace that's narrow? Do I want that to remain brown? I'm just sort of tossing that around a little bit. So Calico was on this spine, and then I found a piece of lace that wrapped around both sides and the spine. So let me just open it up, and we put some lace through here and through here. I did need to cut the edge off of this little lace so that it was the right width to go through. Now you'll recall that the plan was that this little journal, or this little wraparound, was going to go in here around these pages, and it was like a decorative greeting piece, if you will. Well, when I went to stitch in this signature, it just didn't fit. It did not fit. I've only allowed a little spine here on this. See that little spine? I've only allowed the tiniest of little spines. So what I should have done is made that probably double the size so that this journal could be a lot chunkier. What tricked me up is this spine here where the lace is nice and thick. But that was in my head allowing for this book to fold back on itself. So technically, the book spine and that spine should have been probably a similar size if you want your journal to be really chunky. It doesn't matter for me. I can adapt. So I ended up not using this element when stitching in the pages. I stitched them in, added some lace either side, and that's the little journal inside done. I will go through and add a little bit more Christmas with some fussy cut images and a couple journal cards, but I can't go too crazy because I just don't have that spine there. So I guess what I'm saying is when you add the piece at the end, remember this was one A4 page, and then this was another one folded in half but stuck on the very end. When you create this, make the spine a little bit bigger if you're going to go crazy and decorate inside the journal. Now, I know the lady that's going to be getting this is not going to be doing that. If anything, I think she'll just want to be in the project with a pen, and that's it. So I think by the time I add some beautiful little trims to all of these pages, it'll be more than enough. This pocket will still handle some of Rachel's tags. So I'll go through and pick some of those little things, plus some general ephemera. And my guess is they will probably stay in that pocket with the lady, and she will just write on the back of them. So I'm really not too concerned about that. Look, at the end of the day, if I see that she really wants to play and she becomes a junk journaler like the rest of us, we can always make her another journal that has a little bit more space to wriggle. So with that in mind, this was never going to fit over here. I then thought maybe I could put it in this pocket. It fit, but I was concerned that it would give way because I made it into a little journal. So in here is just some little bits of pieces of paper surrounded by some French for additional writing. So I thought maybe she could make this a list of presents for all the grandkids or something like that. Just an itty bitty Christmas journal. So I'm really pleased with the way that this has come up. So then I thought, well, I've got to put it somewhere. I thought about putting it in here. I thought about putting it in there, which it all would fit. It would work. But then it's attached. And I thought, no, let's keep this as maybe a handbag Christmas journal. So that's the final decision on that. And I decided I'd put a pocket here just for it. Now, because it's thick and could get thicker, I cut myself a piece of this nice cardstock and made it with some sides that fold under everywhere so it's nice and deep. Now, if you're new to journaling, what I mean by that, let me grab a piece of scrap paper. Let's say this was the brown piece of pocket. all I did was give myself a gusset. So I did that on the 3 edges, and that now allows for something quite chunky to go in there. So just to trim it up a little bit so there was no paper sitting on top of each other. See how that folds over? You sort of, that's bulk you don't need. So all I do is just cut into that corner and cut out. And then I did the same at the top. And this is how you can make a pocket hold a lot more. You might have like a needle book or something going into a journal. Well, you definitely need a little bit of space for that. So now you've got a little pocket with these little fold up gussets. With the glue, down she goes, and you'll get that gap. See that gap in there? Perfect. So that's what you do if you've got something quite chunky. So this little journal, don't you love how our projects just take different journeys? Like, oh, that's the best thing about these journals. You work out, oh, I've got glue on the page. You work out where you think you're going, but where you end up can be completely different. It's just the best thing about doing these projects, especially when you're making it from nothing. Like, you haven't got a book cover, you're just going for it. I hope I didn't get any more glue anywhere. What a mess. And the reason I've got glue everywhere is I sat down to tell you all about where I was with this, and then started on the box and realized that I hadn't hit play on my video. So I need to catch you back up, and I'm just going to clean that there a little bit better. I thought I had cleaned it, but obviously hadn't. So I think that's where we were at, and I think you're up to speed. Added a heap of lace, just started trimming it a little with those laces, turned that into a little mini journal, created a pocket for it and slid it in, and I still have room for some tags, journal cards, ephemera and bits and pieces. So yeah, all we've got to do now in this piece is pretty much have a play in those pages, which we will do another day. So I'm just going to pop that aside because it's coming along nicely, and there's probably not much left to do in that. Now I've started playing with the box. Now I haven't put a lot of thought into the box until, you know, right now, and I've discovered a couple things. The lid doesn't fit flat to this edge. As you can see, it slides over. Now, not only does it slide over, it slides a little bit past that little indent that is there. So I have a feeling that if I was to put paper there, it would catch and it would potentially rip. I just don't like the fact that it could catch it. So if you're choosing a box, I still love my box, don't get me wrong, and I would do another one. If you choose a box and you find one that just has a flat lid that sits nicely on there, it's probably a better choice. Having said that, I really like this box. So at the end of the day, I'm not too concerned that this is going to stay brown. I could paint it, maybe put some gold paint on it, we'll see. But I sort of like that colour anyway because it sort of matches the whole project anyway. If that was like purple, well then I'd have an issue and have to paint it. So then I thought about my edge. You could put paper around that edge, but I thought let's make it a little bit more special. And I went to my Christmas ribbons and I found this particular ribbon. So I started just applying my glue stick and just working my way along the edges. Now I'm at the back is where I started of the lid opening. Okay, so then I looked up at the TV to make sure you could see this and realized that I wasn't recording. So I had to stop and start again. So let's carry on. I've caught you up to speed and we're ready to ready to go. So all I'm doing here is just putting some glue stick along there. That will hold the ribbon beautifully, and it's just the right size. So this project is drawing to an end quite quickly, which I'm pleased, because sort of the more I think about people that I've come across this year and potentially may actually see before now and Christmas, I'm thinking I might definitely make a couple little Christmas journals just to have them, I guess, in my stash to give if someone suddenly comes up on the radar. Like, plans aren't set yet for all of our Christmas festivities, so there's always those last minute things that happen. You'll out of the blue hear from someone. So I'm thinking if we get time, I'm going to definitely make a couple more little Christmassy journals, sort of just to have in my stash. They're always handy, and you know, at the end of the day, if I don't need them, they can go back into my cupboard, and then next year maybe the lady that gets this gets one of those. So it will not hurt to have a few spares, and I've got plenty of papers printed. I've got so much stuff printed that I'm just going to keep fiddling, I think. So I hope you don't mind. I'm sure you're all in the same boat. You're just busy making things for gifts. It has been raining and raining all morning here. And if you hear those puppy dogs of mine, they're under the patio right next to me because it's raining. Heaven forbid they got their fur wet. So they've been wrestling and goosing around like crazy dogs. So I do apologise now if you hear woofing and yelping, and I don't know how many times I've tapped the glass door to say, you know, settle down you lot, someone must be getting hurt. Lovely. I just get my little, just to make sure that that is really gripping. I guess if you are putting gifts into boxes, maybe consider getting plain boxes. I know we're always pushed for time and we grab those ones in the shops that are already pre-printed. Maybe consider getting some plainer boxes, and we've got so many papers printed. I've got glue going everywhere here. Yeah, grab some plain ones and decorate them. And like you'll see, I'm just doing the lid. I'm not going to go crazy with every surface, but you could. If you were giving some baked goods to someone, this would be a lovely box to put some cookies in. Or in Australia, we call them biscuits. Bickies. That's great. And then that will come along. Will we cover? How do we get our words to look right, or am I being pedantic? Let's have a little look. There's no way to get it due to where that ribbon started. Oh well. If I cut that there, it won't be as obvious. Or do I cut it there? I'm overthinking this. There's nothing I can do. I'm just going to there's just no way around it. You see the letters. If I cut it there, you're still going to see. I'm going to cut it there because that gold scroll that's underneath won't look crazy weird. It's there, but it's not too bad. Anyway, overthinking it like usual. Would have been nice if it lined up perfectly. Didn't think of that when I started. Don't think it would have, but because of the way the spacing is on those letters, and of course the distance, I've had to trouble. That's gone on relatively easy. You could just do so much with these boxes. Like I said, I think in one of the earlier videos, you could line them in fabric. You could put some wadding underneath the fabric on the bottom, so you got more of a cushion. You could do a strip of fabric around the inside edge that was gathered, so you had like a little pleated look. For some ideas, because I've sort of done a box before, a sewing box, a renovation of a sewing box. There's I think 3 episodes, maybe 4, 3 episodes of when I restored a very old sewing basket, and that is pretty much another way you could line your box. And I did a strip of slow stitch on the inside edge of the box. So if you're interested to see how I did that, go and have a look at that video. I'll attach it below the playlist. Sewing box. Just make a note of that. So that pretty much had a band of fabric that went around the inside edge, but before I put it in, I put all this slow stitch and made it like a snippet roll, and that went around, and then I had a piece of cardboard to the base and put some slow stitch on that as well and slid it down at the end, so it was fully lined. I also did some embroidery. Actually, no, I used a piece of embroidery that was in the sewing basket from the lady when she was like in grade 3 or 4 or something. She was only little, and the doily that she had done was in the old basket. So I created a piece of cardboard that went into here with a little bit of wadding on it. Then I pushed the doily over it and then popped that into the inside of the lid. So it came up beautifully. There we go, there's our box. Now that is ready to be filled with goodies. Now I just want to work on the front here. I might put paper in here. I probably will. I'll have to go through my colours to see if I've got something. Those stripes would be nice. Tear that down. So it'd be pretty simple. It'd be just a case of tearing down, say, 3, 4 sides. You could measure it in there and then tear accordingly. Or once you get a couple of your sides, whoops, torn down, you could even just place your paper inside and then do a little mark with a pencil of where it needs to be torn some more. But I would highly recommend you use your grid on your table, if you have one, to just make sure you get it as straight as you can, because you are working in a box, remember. So can you believe it's the 1st of December? Wow. Oh boy. Last month. So I'm just going to make sure that that fits internally. Yes, it does. And I can see a line on that paper that's going to be perfect. So this box would be just perfect for photos, especially if you went away for Christmas and your box became somewhere to store your postcards, some additional photos, and then your journal was there to document your journey. So what are we going to call it? Journal on a box. What about that? That's exactly what it is. It's not very exciting. A journal on a box. Okay, now I need my ink. I don't think I'll do the sides of this. Let's keep it similar to the front cover where I only did the front top edge. It will need a piece on the bottom because that piece on the bottom is going to hold the last little edge of that journal in position. So put that back there. Now that, if we've measured right, will slide into there beautifully. Easy. Okay, so let's put some glue on that and get that in. So pretty simple. Like I said, you could really go to town on the box. I'm not going to. I think there's enough happening here, and I just love the papers, and it feels like a little old box anyway. But boy, imagine if you could do a heap of stitching on it. If this was a sewing themed journal, gosh, imagine what you could do with that. And that became somewhere to store a project or some embroidery. And the little journal was where you kept all your pattern information or projects that you've done, or just a sewing theme. Where's my wet one? Before we get ourselves into a sticky mess. My glue book just isn't big enough to have a page of this size put on it. So just using my glass mat. Now, let's see if we can get this in here with very little issue. So mind myself if I jump in front of the camera by mistake. Let's get that up into position. Oops. Happy with that. A little bit of wriggle room there with that glue, which is great. There we go. No major mishap. That is finished. That is not going anywhere. Forever a stripy bottom box. I guess too, if whoever gets these types of gifts, if you don't embellish the whole box, you're leaving it as an opportunity for them to also play with the box in the way of embellishing it. Let's see if I can find some green paper. Yeah, that one's beautiful. For the inside of the lid. So let's just get this one down to at least 3 sides. Let me know in the comments if you're going to make a journal on a box. And I guess tell me if you're going to keep it yourself or it's part of a Christmas gift like mine. Just going to... This one's got very rounded corners, this lid, making the degree of difficulty. So let's get our edges at least straight. 25 days till Christmas, guys. Will I have enough time to do everything I want to do? I'm sure I will. Be It is going to fly, isn't it? Absolutely fly. Okay. Oops. Am I getting it straight-ish? The box, oh goodness, keeps wriggling it around. There we go, that's better. Beautiful. Just give that a little bit of ink. Those exposed edges that I haven't put paper on, they'd be beautiful painted gold. I don't think I've got any gold paint. If I do, gosh, it'd be a million years old. I haven't used gold paint for so long. Used to do a lot of painting, but the paints just don't last. And if they do, they get pretty thick. So you've got to, you know, water them down, and yeah, I can't imagine they're in any good condition. Just going to put that in there just to make sure that it's the right size. Yep, great. Okay, let's get some glue on that. So what are you all doing for Christmas? Are you hosting Christmas? Are you going to be running around like a crazy mad rabbit trying to pull a Christmas extravaganza together, or are you organised everyone around you, that everyone brings something so that you don't have to be like just about killing yourself trying to pull a Christmas together? That's the way I like to work. I do a fair bit myself, but there comes a point where you just you've got to get a little help. Even if on the day there's a lot of dishes to make, at least get the girls to give you a hand. We hear some funny conversations in the Christmas shop. People walking around, they might be with their sister or something, and they're discussing Christmas, and they're in there buying bits and pieces they're going to need for their day, and you hear them talking about others in the family. It's so funny at times, especially if there's someone in the family they're not real keen on or that relative that just causes trouble. They just don't have a filter on what they say, and you hear them talking about them. It's really funny. Or someone doesn't want to have someone at their Christmas, but they sort of have to, so they're debating how they get out of having that person at their Christmas. It can be really funny. My Christmas is going to be driving all over the countryside, I think. Everyone is sort of getting of an age where driving is just not as comfortable for them. So it's just easier if my husband and I go to them. Or they're a family with a heap of young kids and they've got a pool and the kids are happier there in the pool and we just all go to them, you know, those types of Christmases. So hot in Australia, so if anyone has a pool at Christmas, it's a bit of a thing. There we go. I'm happy with that. It's simple, but like you could really go overboard, but I like it. It sort of feels a little bit more rustic. It's not crazy. I've got a little bit of bling on the side. Yeah, I like that. Now, where's my journal? Oh, you know what I didn't do, guys? Oh, no, I did. It's all right. It's all good. I thought I'd put the bottom piece on and not attach this. So that is going to glue onto that bottom. So if I turn that over, you'll see that is going to glue onto there once I put this bottom piece on. Or I could even put the bottom piece over it. That'd probably be stronger. Yeah, you could put it over it, or you could just glue that straight on. I think I will glue it straight on because I've made it a decorative feature with that stitching. So I'm going to go ahead and choose something from there, and then that can be attached to the bottom. So let's do that next. What do we want on the bottom? Let's put maybe a piece of gold paper. Sort of matches everything, and we haven't used gold, so let's get this one prepped. Okay, let's measure our box. This one will be easy. Inside's tricky, but this is be easy. So I'm going to mark that side, and I'm also going to mark the bottom. I move that then, is it still okay? Yes. Well, the rain has stopped. It was so humid yesterday. The rain was actually due to come tomorrow, but the humidity really lifted quickly, and then suddenly it was here. So I'd say the weather forecasters would have been watching that and going, up, we've just lost a day in our forecast. There we go. The lady that's getting this gift is also getting one of the Grace gifts. Where's my list? Let's see what she's getting. And we could put her gift inside the box. Chickens. She's getting the 30 chickens, and her husband's getting the pigs. So we could make, I was thinking about this last night too, that I think I counted up, I needed a dozen cards made, but I probably don't, because some of them are husbands and they're not going to be concerned with a slow stitched embellished Christmas card. So what I might do, I think I've got I've got two couples. So I might just make the one card, and then the one couple, the lady, is getting this as well. So what we might do is I will embellish the tag, slide in the two Grace gifts into it, and then maybe slide that into the front of the journal, you know, that big pocket we've got. So, and it won't be too thick, so that certainly won't interfere with the spine being a little narrower than I probably would have preferred, but at least it'll be a very pretty spot for it. So this project will continue a little more for this particular lady, because she is part of the tag pocket. Is that dry? Yes. Now we put that on the bottom, And we've made ourselves a nice lovely. Beautiful. So there's our box completed, covered, ready to have the journal attached. Now I won't do that until the very end because it's just going to make it harder for us to work in the journal. So there we go. Gorgeous. I love it. There we go. How pretty is that? So what I'll do is I'll find something to wrap around it. And I have some beautiful chiffon fabric which haven't used for a tie. Let me have a little look if I can see it easily. Yeah, here it is. I was thinking about making a tie out of this. It's just so soft and pretty. I found it at the op shop, can you believe? Like, how often does that happen when you get a beautiful fabric like that? So I don't know if this stuff rips real well. Let's have a look. No. So I'll need to lay that down and give it a snip. So that's going to be the tie. Might make it quite luscious. Yeah, that'll be beautiful. So I will do that off camera because I'm going to need to lay that down on my cutting table and get that right. So let's just have a look at the top. See, we've got plenty of room there still to play due to that spine. And yeah, we're nowhere near chockers yet. Did I need to? No, I'm not going to put anything here. I know I did consider it. I might maybe do a sneaky little pocket. Yeah, I will. What the hang? So let's put the box away so it can dry because I'm touching it and moving it, and let's do a little pocket here that we can put a little sneaky tag in it. Maybe a greeting tag where we say hello. Now, let's get some cardstock that we can use as scraps. Do I have any? Must be something in the bin, surely. Before I go and grab another sheet. No, nothing. So be it. It won't hurt anyway to have some because we're now at the stage. Now my piece of paper just flew to the floor. Hang on a minute, guys. Oh, goodness me. Let's make our little pocket for here. We'll tuck it just inside the stitching. Now we get to play. Now we get to decorate, but we must refrain ourselves a little. Just a little itty bitty pocket. We may as well make a little tag for it while we're at it. There's my glue book. We can bring that back. Okay. I'll just bring it back from the edge of fraction. once we've done this, I want to do a little bit of work with the Santa that was going on the top of the pocket too. Because this will need, maybe actually need to be trimmed back a little more. We'll see how we're going for size. Because I want to see the stitching, yes, that just peeks through. Yep, perfect for a little tag. What am I looking for? Glue. I just glue him down because I'm not going to stitch it, I don't think. There's enough stitching there. So I'm sort of talking to myself here, discussing to myself my process. I wonder if there's a little tag in amongst the ephemera that would actually fit in there. There we go. That pocket has found its forever home. Let's have a look. Oh, that looks interesting. Look at those. That would have to fit. Thank you, My Porch Prints. Once again, stellar work. It's even got a curved top. That should fit in there beautifully. And I might make it a little firm too. And put it on this paper. Now this cardstock has a really brown side and then a different tone on the other side, which doesn't really fit. So I'm going to flip it over. So that we get the tone that best suits our project on the back. Just cut this out and we have one little tuck. How easy was that? That was meant to be, wasn't it? Hope it fits. It should do. It should slide in there. Just a little something. Maybe she could write the date or the, maybe I write a message in there. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll write in here a little Christmas greeting. There you go. That's going to be my little tag to write on. I have to come up with something. And that way I'm nowhere else in the journal. I'm just, as she opens that first page, there I am. Just going to round that corner so that it slides nicely into that little pocket. There we go. Lovely. Love it. Now, let's do something on the front as a little decorative thingy. We need some words, don't we? You know what we need is the word special delivery. I don't think that appears anywhere in here. Compliments of the season. Oh, the word journal is there. Could use that. I sort of had my heart set on the word special delivery, to be honest. I'm looking at that that there. I'd be pretty confident I have the word special delivery cut out, and in that ephemera book. Aren't they just gorgeous? Nope. Let's have a look in. Let's have a look in here. Oh, they'd have to be Dreams, etc. A lot of these are from, if you are wondering what's up in there, Joy. The lady getting this is a mature lady, and she would remember some of these brands, my guess. I sort of remember some of them. Some of the decorations we had were in these old boxes that had these words on them. Of course, I didn't take too much notice, being I was young, but they are familiar. What about the seal? It's too big. Look, I know I have special delivery somewhere in my ephemera. So if I can't find it here, I'm going to go hunting and print the page that it's written on. Yeah, I'd say I've used it last year. I'm positive there's some in amongst all of this. Merry Christmas too from Happy Holidays. I could use, it's not the right size. Look, I'm going to leave it for a wee moment because I do want to go looking, because I'm positive there'd be something. If not, I'll find something. So that little piece of calico, I'm just going to slide in the back there, and we'll find something to go on that little spot. Now, I do want to work on Santa. Now, before I turned my camera on, I tore him down to size, and he is going to go on the front of the box. But before I do, I want to embellish him a little bit. So I want to put him on some calico. So let's do that. Why is it never straight? See how it's crooked? Oh my goodness. It's out of whack. I might get another piece of, I'll do one more rip, but I have a feeling, yeah, it's off to the angle. Oh, that's probably why it was rejected. Gone. Where's my calico? Let's get ourselves a new piece, because that is just not going to work. Make a bit of room here. Now this, I know, is straight, and that is pretty much the right size. So let's just keep ripping a little more. we go. Now, let's trim this down just a little bit more. It is a little warped. I think it'll be okay, but I'll get rid of this selvage. Gosh, look at that. It's not exactly square, is it? Let's give it a bit of a tug. It's like it's pulled too much to the one side. That's good. Got plenty of tassel. Pull those threads a little bit. And that is going to go onto there. And that will go onto there. And then I'm going to stitch around before I glue it down the edge of Santa. I probably won't do too much else to it, I don't think. So let's get some glue onto Santa. And then that can dry. Okay, so my homework is going to be to find a special delivery. I do seem to have my heart set on that. If I can't find something that's the right size, because they might be a bit too long for that little space, I'll think of something else. There we go. It's a little bit wonky, but that's okay. Lovely. So that will need to dry. And like I said, I will go around the perimeter of Santa with some stitching to give it that little bit extra. And then I can glue it onto the box. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, love it. Love it, love it. Imagine that full of family photos. Oh. And then a journal talking about the family. Oh, look, this has got so many different applications, guys. A journal on a box. There you go. All right, it's pretty close to the hour. I suppose we have a few more minutes, don't we? Maybe let's play some more. Can't hurt. I'll put that to one side. Let's grab that journal back. And let's have a little look. What else can we do? Oh, we need something here. Let's have a look through the ephemera. Maybe there'll be something we like that is rectangular. Oh, I do love those little birds. Those, I think they're bigger elsewhere, but we could certainly do the little birds. Oh, those little girls. That's cute. It's a little bit too golden. The birds will bring in a different colour. Look at those little birds. I wonder if that would fit on my With Every Good Wish. Oh, I'm going to put that there, guys. Forget about special delivery. Let's cut that out. Should have torn it. It doesn't matter. I got caught up in the excitement. That, I think, will fit Plus it gives us a pop of blue. Yeah, love it. And I'll put that little bit of calico behind it. And I might even be able to stitch. And then I think, let's keep looking. We've used the little car. Christmas greetings. See, that'd fit too. The bells would look gorgeous, but like the birds. Nothing jumping out at me. I should cut all those pieces out too. Oh, look at the circular birds. No. Oh, some of these might fit. Let's have a little look through those. So we need a rectangle. Kids playing in the snow, how sweet. It's the birds. I know she would love the birds. So let's get the birds out. I will cut it out because the other one is cut and it's right next to it. So let's take those out and we will glue that onto some calico as well so that we have that consistency in design with the calico popping through underneath everything. Yeah. Oh, how sweet. How sweet, sweet, sweet. Yeah. This pocket here, we might put another pocket on here because we've got space in this spine. We can really build up the center here where we are. So I think I'll take advantage of that and put another little pocket here for bits and pieces. We may as well, because there won't be a lot of tags and things within the little journal itself. So I think that might be a great spot. So I guess too, when the journal is opened, there'll be a lot of goodies right here. I sort of like that idea. It sort of sets the mood for the journal itself. And the journal, if it's all going to be writing and stories, family stories, or, you know, whatever, there we go. I love that. I will put some stitching around it, but will I? Because it's so small. The stitching, yeah, I'm not going to, because I think the stitching will overpower the piece. So I'm just going to attach it. And that will go there like that. And I'll take a bit to dry. Now I need some calico. How are we going? Got 1 minute. 1 minute. Here's some calico, which will be very close to the size I need. You know what? I'm going to find that special delivery, and if it's long, I'm going to tuck it in here maybe. So I'm only going to tear this, the one side, and just leave that little bit extra calico on the bottom of it. I can always adjust it, but that's a definite. And there might be something I can pop on the bottom there just to sort of give it a little trim, maybe some lace or the word special delivery. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm going to give myself a little bit of wriggle room there. All right, guys, there we go. We got plenty of things done this time. We've got our box sorted. We just have to attach the journal when we're ready. And then the next episode, if you will be just continuing working through the piece, embellishing as we go, and yeah, playing. All right, guys, look after yourselves. Have a lovely day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.